Running a SaaS or a software business without tracking KPIs is like driving your car at night with the headlights off. You might be moving forward, but you have no idea where you are going or if you are just about to crash. In this video, I'll walk you through the top 10 SaaS business KPIs that every FP&A professionals must know, and not in a boring textbook style, but in simple practical terms with examples so that you can apply that right away in your role. So let's jump in. Now, before we dive into the KPIs, let us get clear on what SaaS business actually is. SaaS stands for Software as a Service. Instead of selling a product once, companies charge their customers a subscription fee to use their software every month. For example, like Netflix, Zoom, or Canva. And that is why recurring revenue is the lifeblood of SaaS businesses. And the best place to start is the one metric that keeps every SaaS business alive, which is monthly recurring revenue or MRR. Monthly recurring revenue or MRR is the heartbeat of any SaaS business. Without recurring revenues, you don't have predictability. So, in simple words, MRR is just the total money you can count on receiving from subscriptions each and every month. For example, if there are 100 paying customers at $50 each, your total MRR is $5,000. But the real insights come from splitting this MRR into four buckets: new MRR, expansion MRR, contraction MRR, and churned MRR. That tells us where the growth is coming from or where there is a leakage is happening. The new MRR is the revenue added from brand new customers signing up this month. For example, if you get 20 new customers this month who are subscribing at $50 each, then your new MRR is $1,000. Why new MRR matters? It is because it shows the effectiveness of your customer acquisition strategy. Next, let's talk about the expansion MRR. Expansion MRR is the extra revenue from existing customers upgrading, adding more seats, or buying some add-ons. For example, a customer who is an existing customer on a $100 plan upgrades to a $200 plan. In this case, your expansion MRR is additional $100. Expansion MRR matters because it indicates the product value and the upsell success. Often it is cheaper and healthier to get the customer upgraded rather than chasing new customers. Third, we talk about the contraction MRR. Contraction MRR is the revenue lost when a customer downgrades or reduces its usage. A new customer paying $200 a month moves to a $100 plan. So your contraction MRR in this case is $100. Contraction MRR matters because it is a warning sign that the customers might not see enough value in the higher tier plans. Finally, we come to the churned MRR. This is the revenue lost when customers cancel your service completely. So, in this example, say a $300 monthly paying customer cancels, then your churned MRR is $300. This is the hardest hit to your recurring revenue and reduces both your current and the future potential income. So, breaking it down, your previous month MRR is the MRR that you started the month with. You add the new MRR, which is from the brand new customers. Then you add the expansion MRR, which is extra revenue from existing customers upgrading or adding seats. Then you subtract the contraction MRR, which is revenue loss from customer downgrades. And finally, you subtract the churned MRR, which is lost revenue from cancellations, to get to your new month recurring revenue or the new month MRR. Let's take an example. Your previous month MRR was $50,000. New MRR is $5,000. Expansion MRR is $3,000. Contraction MRR is $1,000. And churned MRR is $2,000. In this case, your new monthly MRR grew by $5,000 net in this particular month. On a quick side note, if you are serious about growing your career in FP&A, then do check out our Certified Global FP&A Professional Program. CGFPA is a 6-month accredited certification in FP&A designed to help you become real business partners. If that sounds something you would be interested in, links are in the description. Also, there are a bunch of free resources that you can download on FP&A, including books and free courses. You will find all the links in the description. Now, if MRR tells us the monthly pulse, then the annual version gives us the big picture health check. The second KPI is annual recurring revenue, also known as the ARR. Investors and boards love ARR because it shows your company's long-term strength and stability. In simple words, it is basically MRR multiplied by 12, which is your yearly subscription income. Remember that example, the 5,000 monthly revenue. If you multiply it by 12, you get 60,000, which is your annual recurring revenue. But revenue doesn't just come for free. Let us next talk about how much does it cost to bring in those customers. That brings me to the SaaS business KPI number three, customer acquisition cost or CAC. SaaS companies often burn cash too fast. The CAC tells you if you're spending too much to get new customers. It is the average amount of money that you spend on marketing and sales to win a single customer. For example, if you spend $10,000 and get 50 new customers, your customer acquisition cost or CAC is $200 per customer. Now, spending to get customers only makes sense if they stick around and pay back more than that you spend on acquiring them. Which brings us to our next KPI. Let's talk about our SaaS business KPI number four, customer lifetime value, also known as LTV or ELTV. You need to know how much revenue each customer is worth over their entire relationship with you. So, in simple words, the lifetime value is the total money you will make from a customer before they leave. Let's take an example. If they pay $100 a month and stay for 20 months, that's $2,000 of lifetime value. If your CAC is 200, then you are doing a great job. But customers don't always stay forever. Some will definitely leave. That's why our next KPI becomes critical. So let us talk about SaaS business KPI number five, which is the churn rate. Churn is the silent killer of SaaS business. High churn means you are filling a leaky bucket. In simple words, a churn is the percentage of customers who cancel in a given time period. For example, if you start with 100 customers and 10 customers cancel in a month, then your churn rate is 10%. Now, churn shows the losses, but what if your existing customers spend more over the period of time? Let's talk about our SaaS business KPI number six, which is net revenue retention, also known as NRR. This KPI shows if your existing customer base is growing in value or shrinking. In simple words, it is the percentage of revenue you keep from existing customers after upgrades, downgrades, and churn. For example, if you start with $100 and lose $10 from churn, but you are able to add $20 from upsells, then your net revenue retention is 110%. So far, we have looked at customers and revenue, but what about the money you actually keep after all the costs? That's where the gross margin comes in. Next, we talk about the SaaS business KPI number seven, gross margin. High revenue is meaningless if a lot of it is eaten up by costs. So, gross margin shows your actual efficiency. In simple words, it is the percentage of revenue left after paying for all the expenses like hosting, servers, and the customer support cost. For example, if you earn $100 and it costs you $20 to deliver your service, then your gross margin is 80%. Margin looks great on paper, but cash in the bank is what actually matters. That's why let us talk about our next KPI, which is the burn rate and the cash runway. SaaS business KPI number eight, burn rate and the cash runway. Many startups fail not because of poor products, but because they run out of cash. Burn rate is how much money you are losing each month, and the runway is how long you can survive before the cash runs out. For example, if you have $1 million in the bank and you are burning $100,000 a month, you have got a 10-month of cash runway. Now, let us zoom back to the customer level. What's the average value each customer brings in? That is our next KPI. That brings us to SaaS business KPI number nine, which is average revenue per user, also known as ARPU. Average revenue per user helps you understand the customer quality and the effectiveness of your pricing strategy. In simple words, ARPU is your total monthly revenue divided by the number of customers. For example, if your monthly recurring revenue is $50,000 and you have 500 customers, then your average revenue per user or ARPU is $100. Finally, let us bring it all together with one metric that investors use to test SaaS business efficiency, which is our KPI number 10, the magic number. The magic number, also known as the SaaS sales efficiency, is important because it shows your sales and marketing spend is paying off in revenue growth. In simple words, it is the ratio of new ARR added to your sales and marketing spend. For example, if you spend $1 million and are able to add $1 million in ARR, then your magic number is 1. Anything above 0.75 is generally considered healthy, and that is your complete SaaS KPI business toolkit. So let us recap. MRR gives you the short term pulse. ARR is the investor's long term lens. CAC plus LTV shows whether the growth is affordable and profitable. Churn plus NRR reveals if your customer base is stable and expanding. And finally, gross margin, burn, average revenue per user, and the SaaS magic number keeps your efficiency in check. These SaaS business KPIs aren't just numbers, they are the story of your SaaS business. If you understand them well and track them properly, you will lead the business teams with insights instead of reacting to crisis. If this breakdown has helped you, hit the like and subscribe button for more FP&A video content, and drop in the comments which SaaS business KPIs do you track most often in your business. I would love to know that. Also, do check out the links in the description for free FP&A resources like books, courses, and cheat sheets. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.